I spent years trying to force myself through hard things with willpower and kept failing. It's only when I stopped relying on willpower that I discovered 11 tiny habits that actually work. In this video, I'm walking you through these 11 habits and how to use them. Habit 1. Pair the hard task with a treat. When you begin a hard task, start a ritual you only use for that task. It can be a special playlist, or a perfect coffee blend, or even a specific location. Whatever gives you that little hit of pleasure. But here's the rule that makes this work. You only get that treat during the hard task. Never anywhere else. Never. Soon, your brain starts forming an association. Hard task equals good feeling. It's classical conditioning in action. Except you're Pavlov and the dog. As for me, I have my Starbucks Sumatra coffee when I start writing. I designed this habit when I started my channel, and within just 3 weeks, sitting down to write became something my brain looked forward to. Not because writing got easier, because my brain learned that writing time equals reward time. This isn't about making hard things easy. It's about making hard things desirable. Big difference. Start tomorrow. Pick your hard task, pick your exclusive pairing, never break the rule. Your brain will do the rest. Habit 2. Preview your future self. This is your 60-second time machine. When you sit down to work, you visualize 2 versions of yourself. Spend 30 seconds on version 1, where you did the thing consistently for 6 months. Vividly imagine how you feel. Next, spend 30 seconds on version 2 of you who kept avoiding it for 6 months. Now imagine, how does that person feel about themselves? What did they miss? What's the regret level? Be honest, then ask, which one am I building right now with this decision? This works because your brain treats the future you like a stranger that it can connect to. It tries not to screw over that future you. Next time, when the choice is between scrolling and working, remember that you're not just choosing an activity, you're choosing which future self you're creating. That reframe makes the decision obvious. Habit 3. The 2-minute start. I have already discussed it quite a bit in my earlier video, so here is a short and crisp version of it. When it's time to start, you do 2 minutes. That's it. For example, it could be 2 minutes of writing or 10 push-ups. Then give yourself permission to stop without any guilt. Your brain can't muster much resistance to 2 minutes. It's too small to be threatening, so you actually start. And starting is 80% of the battle. In fact, the chances are that you will keep going beyond those first 2 minutes. Not because you forced yourself, because momentum took over. But even on days where you truly only do 2 minutes, you still showed up. You still reinforced the identity. Habit 4. Make if-then rules. This habit helps remove the decisions. For example, when it's 8:30 a.m., then I write for 25 minutes. Unless I'm sick, then I write 1 sentence. That's an implementation intention. You're not deciding whether to do the thing. You're not deciding when. You already decided both. Your brain just executes the pre-made decision. This works because it helps you bypass the decision fatigue. You make the decision once with full cognitive capacity. Then you just follow the script. Over time, these become so automatic your brain doesn't even debate them. The trick is to be obscenely specific with details like exact time, exact location, and exact action. Write it down. Let autopilot handle the hard stuff. Habit 5. Remove friction for good. The idea behind this habit is simple. Tonight's setup determines tomorrow's success. So, when you finish for the day, you make tomorrow's start 1 click away. For example, plan for the 3 most important tasks for tomorrow. Lay out your clothes before sleeping instead of frantically ironing them in the morning. Clear out your workspace and put your phone in the drawer when you start working. When you address these frictions, you're designing your environment so the right behavior is the path of least resistance. Most people try to change through willpower. They wake up saying, "Today I'll be different." Then they fail because their environment hasn't changed at all. Stop fighting yourself. Make starting so frictionless that resistance collapses. Make distractions require effort. That's how you win. If you liked the video so far, consider subscribing. Also, I have linked all the research material in the show notes below. Now, on we go to the next one. Habit 6. Create constant feedback loops. Here is how it works. When you complete a chunk, you tick a box or move a token. Do it immediately. This is the reward timing hack. The thing with your brain is that it needs tight feedback loops. Do a thing, get a reward. Not work for 4 hours, then reward yourself. Your brain looks at that and says, 4 hours is an eternity. Hard pass. I have 3 coins on my desk that I move from left to right every time I finish my main task. Every 25 minutes of focused work. I start a 5-minute timer for a break. It is stupid simple, but it works. Every time I see the progress, the task becomes self-reinforcing. You're giving your brain a dopamine drip instead of asking it to wait for one big feast at the end. I've got a full breakdown of this method linked above if you want the deep dive. Now, set up your system today. Then watch how different the work feels. Habit 7. Make it public. Keep it tiny. If you have read Atomic Habits, you probably know this. When you finish your work block, drop the proof in a buddy chat. It could be screenshot of your word count, or a gym selfie. Something small that shows you did the thing. This creates two powerful forces working for you. First, accountability. When people are watching, quitting becomes embarrassing. Your brain will do the hard thing just to avoid the social pain of being seen as someone who doesn't follow through. Second, pride. When you start showing up consistently and people notice, that becomes its own reward. Your brain associates the hard thing with social approval, respect, and recognition. That's dopamine. That's the reward signal your brain was missing. You're not just doing the work in isolation anymore. You're building a public identity as someone who shows up, and your brain will protect that identity. Find your accountability buddy or group, then start posting proof every single day. Small, consistent, public. Check out the linked video above if you want to know about it in more detail. Habit 8. Maintain a streak log. Documenting is the only way to build an efficient system. So, when you're done for the day, you need to log your work, plus one sentence on how it felt and what you learned. Not just, I did it. The emotional arc matters. For example, day 1 might be, this was terrible, wanted to quit, while day 15 may read, getting slightly easier, still don't love it. But day 30 would be, had a breakthrough, finally seeing why people do this. When you read that progression, you see yourself changing. You have irrefutable evidence of growth, and that's addictive. That's the fuel that keeps you going when motivation fades. Because motivation always fades. Documentation becomes the fuel. After about 2 months of showing up, that pattern becomes virtually impossible to quit. Your brain sees the streak and says, this is clearly who we are now. You're not maintaining a habit. You're protecting an identity. That's way more powerful than willpower. Track it somewhere visible. You can use a simple spreadsheet or apps like Habitify. Habit 9. Vote for who you are. Now, when you are logging your streak, you also write one identity sentence. For example, I'm someone who prioritizes health because today I worked out. Every statement is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. If your identity is, I'm someone who struggles with discipline, your brain finds evidence to support that. If your identity is, I'm someone who does hard things, your brain finds evidence to support that instead. This daily line makes the connection explicit. And after 60 days of writing that line, you're not trying to become that person anymore. You are that person. The evidence is undeniable. Cast enough votes and the election isn't even close. Habit 10. Expand your capacity. This is how it goes. When you finish your main task, you do one short voluntary discomfort. It could be a cold shower or an extra set of push-ups. It needs to be something that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Do it for 60 seconds to 5 minutes max. It's about training your nervous system that discomfort is survivable, that you can handle hard things. Every time you choose discomfort, you're building your discomfort tolerance like a muscle. And just like muscles, it grows with consistent stress. Continue at it and you build two things, the ability to do hard stuff and the belief that you can. Interestingly, that self-efficacy transfers everywhere. The person who takes cold showers finds it easier to have difficult conversations. The person who works out consistently finds it easier to tackle complex projects. Each hard thing makes the next hard thing slightly easier, not because the task changed, because you changed. Pick one daily discomfort, make it non-negotiable. Watch how your relationship with hard things transforms everywhere. Habit 11. Make quitting expensive. This one's optional but powerful. When you miss 2 days in a week, you forfeit money to a friend or a charity you actively dislike. Not to a cause you support, but to a cause that makes you cringe. This is called a Ulysses Pact. You're tying yourself to the mast before the sirens start singing. You're making future you's bad decisions hurt your present wallet. We hate losing things more than we enjoy gaining things. Loss aversion is a powerful motivator for most of us. When quitting costs you real money that goes to something you despise, suddenly continuing becomes way more attractive than quitting. Is this manipulative? Yes. Are you manipulating yourself? Also, yes. Does it work? Absolutely. Set it up with someone who will actually collect. Make the amount meaningful enough to sting, Then protect your streak like it's worth money, because now it literally is. Remember, the one who craves hard things doesn't run on willpower or motivation. They do so because they have rewired their brain right.